Ever pondered on the role of an emergency fund in ensuring your financial security? Well, it's time to dive deep into the enigma that is financial security. It's a term we often hear, but what does it truly mean? Simply put, financial security is the peace that comes from knowing your income is enough to cover your expenses. It's the comfort of having a safety net when life throws you a curveball. It's that sigh of relief knowing you can weather a financial storm. But what happens when you don't have this security? The stress, the worry, the sleepless nights? It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net. One unexpected expense, and you could fall into the abyss of financial instability. This is where the concept of an emergency fund comes into play. An emergency fund is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the money you set aside to cover those unexpected life events, a job loss, a medical emergency, a major car repair. It's like an insurance policy for life's sudden surprises. Not having one is a bit like driving a car without insurance. You might be fine for a while, but if something happens, you're in a world of trouble. So, how much should you have in your emergency fund? The rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Why so much? Because life is unpredictable. You never know when you might need that financial buffer. But remember, an emergency fund is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-out-of-trouble-fast plan. It's not about earning interest or making a profit. It's about financial protection, assurance, and peace of mind. So, if you're questioning whether you need an emergency fund, the answer is a resounding yes. It's the first step towards achieving financial security. It's the safety net that gives you the freedom to take risks, chase dreams, and sleep soundly at night. So, let's embark on this journey together and build that financial safety net. After all, your financial security is worth it. Picture this, you're cruising through life, then an unexpected expense hits. It's a scenario we all dread, but let's face it, life is notorious for its curveballs. Let's step into the shoes of Sarah, a freelance graphic designer. She's been enjoying the freedom of her flexible work schedule, when suddenly, her laptop, the lifeline of her career, crashes. With a high-end replacement costing around $2,000, it's a hefty price to pay. But thanks to her emergency fund, she's back to work without skipping a beat. Or consider John, a fitness instructor, who tore his ACL during a routine workout session. This not only meant expensive medical bills, but also a period of unpaid leave. For someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, this could have been a financial disaster. But John had an emergency fund to fall back on. It covered his medical expenses and kept him afloat during his recovery. And then there's Emma, a marketing executive who was suddenly laid off from her job due to company downsizing. While job hunting can be stressful, what made it bearable for Emma was her emergency fund. It served as her financial lifeboat, allowing her to focus on finding a new job without the incessant worry of paying her bills. These are just a few examples from the countless tales of unexpected events. Each of these individuals faced a sudden financial setback, yet they were able to navigate through it with relative ease. Why? Because they had the foresight to set up an emergency fund. Their stories underscore the importance of having that financial cushion to absorb life's hard blows. An emergency fund isn't just about money. It's about having the peace of mind knowing that you can weather financial storms. It's about the freedom to make choices that are not dictated by immediate financial pressures. As we see, life is full of surprises, and an emergency fund is your financial cushion against these unexpected events. So, as we move on to discuss how you can build your own financial safety net, remember Sarah, John, and Emma. Their stories are a testament to the power of preparedness. So, how much should one stash away in an emergency fund? Now, that's a question that's probably been on your mind since we started our journey into the world of financial security. Well, the answer isn't as straightforward as you might think. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Instead, it's a delicate balance, an intricate equation that considers multiple factors. The general thumb rule, however, is to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. But what does living expenses entail, you ask? It's everything that helps you maintain your standard of living. Think along the lines of rent or mortgage payments, utility bills, groceries, transportation, and even your Netflix subscription. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. The amount you need to save can change based on various factors. For instance, if you're in a job that's as steady as a rock, you might lean towards the lower end of that 3 to 6 month range. But if your work is more seasonal or unpredictable, you might want to aim higher, just to be on the safe side. Health conditions can also play a crucial role in this equation. If you or a family member has a chronic illness, you might need to beef up your emergency fund to account for medical expenses that could crop up unexpectedly. And let's not forget about dependents. If you have little ones or others relying on your income, it's wise to stack up a bit more in your emergency fund. After all, it's not just your rainy day you're planning for, but theirs too. So yes, the emergency fund equation is a bit complex, but it's far from unsolvable. It's about assessing your personal situation and making smart, informed decisions. And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not expected to have a fully stocked emergency fund by tomorrow morning. The goal isn't to amass a fortune overnight, but to gradually build a safety net. A net that can catch you when life decides to throw a curveball your way. All right, we've established the need for an emergency fund. But where do you start? Picture this. You're on a journey to financial security, and your first stop is setting up an emergency fund. It's not as daunting as it might seem. Let's break it down into manageable steps. First off, consider setting aside a certain percentage of your income each month. You may be thinking, yikes, my budget is already stretched thin. Don't worry, even a small percentage, say 5 or 10%, can add up over time. Next, let's talk about expenses. We all have those little luxuries we indulge in, whether it's that daily cup of gourmet coffee or those fancy shoes we just can't resist. Now, we're not saying give up everything you love, but perhaps cutting back on non-essential expenses can free up some extra cash for your emergency fund. Then there's the windfall income. Think bonuses, tax refunds, or even that $20 you found in your winter coat. Instead of splurging on a shopping spree or a fancy dinner, why not add these unexpected funds to your emergency stash? Remember, the goal isn't to accumulate a fortune overnight. It's about gradual, consistent saving. Over time, these small contributions will grow into a substantial safety net that can keep you afloat during financial storms. Every penny counts when you're building your financial safety net. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, what's your next step? Well, it's time to take action. Start building your emergency fund today. Remember, this isn't just a savings account, it's your peace of mind, your financial safety net. It's the cushion that softens the blow of life's unexpected turns. So go ahead and start your journey towards financial security. Remember, a penny saved today is a penny earned for tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe and stay savvy.